Welcome, I'm Elliott Dacher, welcoming you again to the second session of the practice of direct awakening. In the previous session, we learned two breathing techniques to effortlessly quiet coarse mental noise. In this session, we will further refine how we relate to the overactive mind. This is important because the still mind is a prerequisite for accessing our true inner self. We will now approach mental activity with a wise and subtle understanding of how the mind actually works. This is important as we learn to work with the natural mind rather than become reliant on techniques or methods. What once disturbed our meditation, mental activity will become an integral part of the meditation process. So please close your eyes, find a comfortable position, and listen to this short teaching with focused attention, returning your attention whenever it wanders. Focused attention and concentration are practices that also deactivate the brain centers which support the wandering mind, what's called the neural default mode. So please listen to this teaching with awareness, focused attention, and concentration with your eyes closed, and you'll get 2 for 1, both the teaching and mental calming. So continue with your closed eyes. Find a comfortable position. Now look directly at your mind with your mind's eye, as it is right now in this moment. Verify that your mental activities, thoughts, feelings, and mental images arise randomly and spontaneously. Watch your mind and confirm this for yourself. Be the observer of your mind. Notice how the activity appears spontaneously, randomly, one thought, feeling, image after another. Just observe for yourself. Staying as the observer, you'll notice the mental activity is constantly on the move. When a thought arises in the mind, we quickly latch onto it, react to it, get entangled with it, create a story around it, and encourage associated thoughts. Just observe this by yourself. We develop an imaginary relationship with our mental activity. Keep watching. We call this eye watching, watching your eye, your sense of self, and its random mental activity. By engaging in mental activity, or mental movement, it may stay active in our mind for an extended period of time. Our reactions to mental activity are the actual cause of distraction, not the mental activity itself. To repeat, our reactions, our relationship to, our clinging to, our getting engaged with mental activity are the actual cause of distraction, not the mental activity itself. Keep watching. Left untouched by our interest, attention, or reaction, random mental activity comes and goes by itself, like a wave rising and falling on the sea. So let me repeat that, it's quite important. Left untouched by our interest, attention, or reaction, random mental activity comes and goes by itself, like waves rising, falling on the sea, clouds moving in the sky. Random mental activity arises, displays itself, and dissolves in a brief moment, actually less than 200 milliseconds. That's the natural life cycle of a thought, feeling, or mental image until we get involved with it. So continue to watch your mind as an observer and verify this for yourself. What happens when you give attention to the mental movement? What happens when you let it be, allowing it to come and go by itself? Just observe and learn for yourself for the next minute or so. You can verify that spontaneous mental activity left untouched naturally and quickly comes and goes on its own. But that's not what usually happens to the untrained mind. Looking directly at your mind once again, confirm how you relate to mental activity. Do you become entangled with it right away, or can you let it be? Whatever occurs is okay, just observe. That's how we learn. You're trying to get to know how your mind works. So let's now begin to practice this. Let's begin our formal practice using both of the calming practices learned in the previous session. Take a deep breath in, rapidly blow it out, emptying all mental activity with the expiration, and then hold the breath and dwell in the stillness of the prolonged breath hold, like this. Now do this by yourself for a number of cycles. Your pace and rhythm will be different than mine. Remember, breath holding turns off the brain centers, the neural default mode that supports an active mind. So when you're holding the breath, the mind will be very still, very quiet, but aware and alert. Just experience that. Carry it into the next in-breath, and blow out all the contents again. Repeat the hold. Extend the duration of the breath holding to extend the duration of the stillness. Remember that stillness, carry it into the next in-breath, through the next out-breath. Refresh it again with a hold at the end of the expiration. You can use this powerful ancient practice whenever your mind is out of control, during formal practice or daily experiences. Next, return to normal breathing so that your breathing is soft, slow, and harmonious. Now shift to the second breathing exercise, a very slow in-breath, followed by a breath hold at the peak of inspiration, slow expiration, then repeat the cycle again. So slow in, hold, out, slow in, hold, out. Repeat the cycle on your own for the next short period of time. Relax all your muscles, your mind and body. Maintain your focus on the breathing practice. This is an effortless way to still the mind. Effortless because it occurs physiologically. All you need to do is do the practice with the breath hold, and your mind will still. So it's really effortless. Now return to normal breathing and be present in the here and now. Keep your breathing slow, harmonious, easy. Rest in the still and empty mind, even if you're not quite there. Dwell in a simple presence. Relaxed at rest, in peace. Now, based on what we learned in this session, here's your next practice. When a thought, feeling, or mental image arises in your mind, as it will, that's what the mind does, stop, observe it, let it naturally dissipate on its own. Do not start a relationship, engage, or identify with whatever arises in your mind. Do not struggle or attempt to suppress or repress mental activity. It's okay. Whatever's there, let it be. It's none of your business. Just observe it. Let it come, let it go. Let's practice for several minutes, staying in presence and awareness, allowing mental activity to come and go on its own. You are not your thoughts, feelings, or images. They are merely random movements of the mind, random neurological discharges. Remain as an observer, never grasping, attaching to, or engaging mental activity. Mental appearances naturally take place. That's okay. So what? Who cares? What do they have to do with you? Practice is natural relationship to mental activity during formal practice and during your day. Allowing it to come, allowing it to go. It's just what the mind does, but it's nothing to do with you. Stay in awareness, in presence, stillness, as a witness. Need to take a breath hold here and there to still your mind, because it's a bit out of control. That's okay. In time, you'll find that your mind slows down on its own. Mental activity will cease to be a hindrance to mental stillness. It'll all come quite simply, without any suppression or repression, just letting it be, letting it come and go on its own. It's all old. It's nothing to do with you. Remain here, present, now. You now have 3 approaches to calming the mind: deep breathing, out, breath holding, dwelling in the stillness of the breath hold, doing extended breathings, extended in with the breath hold, extended out, back in, breath, hold. But most importantly, allowing mental activity to come and go on its own. This will be your basic and foundational approach, because this is natural. You'll get used to it. So that's exactly what will happen in your daily activity. Things will happen here and there, difficult challenges, people. You won't hold on to it. So our focus will be on observing and allowing mental activity to come and go on its own. This allows for a subtler and effortless practice. We will, over time, reserve the breathing practices for only when the mind is overly active. With continued practice and understanding, you'll be able to experience a naturally calm mind, free from the back and forth of random mental activity. You'll no longer have to resort to breathing practices. Your daily practice should begin with one of the breathing practices. When the mind is sufficiently still, drop into a simple presence, observing and letting go of random mental activity as they naturally and spontaneously arise. We remain present into the stillness. If we need to use a breathing technique during the practice, we do so for a few cycles, and then we return to observing the thoughts, feelings, and images as they come and go. You want to practice this for 10 to 20 minutes each day in the morning. And if you need it, you can do a bunch of rounds of the breathing practice first. So let's watch the mind for a few more moments, resting in awareness, presence, and stillness, spaciousness, openness, letting the mind do what it does in terms of giving rise to thoughts, feelings, and images, and let them be. Hi, how are you? Okay, on your way. Observer, witness, aware, present. In our next session, we will explore the step-by-step development of an awareness-based meditation practice. I will leave you now, but you may continue to practice on your own, if you wish, until you are through.